Okay, we're going to get it on.
Please.
All right, so sophomore year, we live in Hanby Hall. And it's finals week, second semester. So that would have been the end of May, early June. And one night, when we should have been studying for exams, a bunch of us, probably 10 or so in number, decided, and I don't know who had the idea, but I know, knowing me as an instigator, I know I played a major role in it once the idea came about. I'm not necessarily the creative one to come up with the idea, but I know how to get a ball in motion and make things happen. So anyway, we decide after everybody is in bed, everybody except the 10 of us, we decide that we're going to go in the restroom and take the partitions down that separate the stalls so that when the girls got up the next morning, they would open a door and there'd be no privacy whatsoever and no paper. So Jill Jenkins, who is seated to my right currently, and Carol Sockel, who's seated to my left, were a part of this, maybe 10 or so of us who did this. And things just escalated. Once we got in and started taking down the partitions, how did we take the partitions down?
Oh, we unscrewed it.
We had screwdrivers or knives from Harlow.
We had equipment.
We had taken
We had
knives
equipment.
from
We had
Barlow.
equipment. Oh, we had
Yes.
plenty of equipment.
Had knives from Barlow.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we labeled things. We knew that eventually they were going to have to be put back together. We weren't trying to be vandals. We weren't trying to destroy any property. We knew that things would have to be put back together, so we kept up with what belonged where. So once we got the partitions down, whose idea was it to do what next, Jill?
Oh, well, we
What's
had
something else
saran
you
wrap.
think of?
We had saran wrap in our
It
room
beats
because
me.
we didn't have meal tickets.
Oh, it was your saran wrap, okay.
Yeah, it was. Well, we put the saran wrap on the toilets, and actually that's
Cover
what
the toilet bowl,
got us caught.
okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, but then the sinks. We went to
No,
the
no, no,
sinks.
before we left the toilet, somebody had Vaseline. Jill, was
Oh,
it your
the
Vaseline?
Yes, I remember.
Was
that.
it your Vaseline?
It
We
could
put
have been.
Vaseline on the toilet seats.
Oh,
yes.
And saran
So
wrap
not only
covering the
could you not
bowl.
pee, you
No paper. No paper, no partitions.
We got
Okay.
in trouble.
Oh, and then, don't forget, we couldn't turn the sinks on. You started with
Oh,
that
that's right.
before.
We unscrewed. We took the tops
The
off.
knobs off.
Yeah, the knobs
So you
off.
couldn't
Yeah.
turn the water
So you
on.
couldn't turn the water on.
Couldn't turn the water on and off.
Yeah.
And I think that was the extent of the damage.
I think it was too.
I
And then
think
we
that
just
was the
quietly
extent
went
of
back
it.
to our
Nothing
rooms.
was-
No, we
and
didn't
waited.
exactly go back quietly. It was, I would tell the truth. It was a fun thing to do. I mean, we
Oh,
had
yeah,
a
so much
blast. We were
fun.
laughing. Everybody else is in bed now, of course. And we're laughing and making all kinds of noise. And I'm sure everybody knew what, they didn't know what we were doing, but they knew we were up to something. And unfortunately, there were some people whose names probably readily came up when the question arose the next morning. Well, who did this? I'm sure they probably rattled off 8 of the 10 people, but there were 2 people whose names were not a part of it.
Yes.
No.
However, what happened to us, Jill?
We were each called into Dean Van's office the next day. We were told that it would take $38 to put the lavatory back together again and that we had to pay it. And she told us how disappointed she was in us and that we would be on social probation for the first semester of our junior year.
Yeah.
So
Now, Ruthie and I lived in the last room. We didn't get caught. And that morning,
They were
when
good
we
girls.
found
Nobody
out-
suspected them.
Well, when we found out that they got caught and we didn't, we felt so bad. So we went running over to Dean Van's office and we admitted our part in the whole thing. And we had both known Dean Van from Pan Hill. So she was kind of kind about it, but she was firm. She says, no, I'm not putting you on probation. You guys are going to have to live with your own guilt. They got it, you didn't. You live with it.
And we didn't know that to this day. In fact, just today, when Carol and I talked, when I was telling about it, because I had forgotten Carol was a part of it. And when we were talking about it, she said, well, and what'd you say? We didn't get any
No,
punishment
you
or
asked
didn't
me
get
if I
social pros.
was one of those that got probation.
Social
I
pro.
said no. And I told her why, what happened. But
We got social pro.
you
Yes.
did. So we acted like we did because we didn't want to admit it. We didn't. We felt so bad about it.
So Sherry and I were junior counselors that
Mhm.
next year.
That's right.
And we were on
That's
social probation. So we were there for the students, the new freshmen.
What an example.
Yeah, go figure.
In
So-
fact, you know, by right, if Dean Van had told us that we couldn't be junior counselors, we wouldn't have had a leg to stand on.
Mhm.
It would have made sense.
Oh, yeah.
You know, whatever penalty would have resulted from it. Oh, when Jill was saying that it would have cost $38 to put it back
$38.
together,
Mhm.
we
So-
put it back together.
Yeah, so we went back in and put it back
We
together
put everything back
because
together.
none of us could afford $38.
Yeah.
Would that have been per person or
No, I
altogether?
think-
Whatever it was, we couldn't
Altogether.
afford it.
Right.
Whatever it was, we couldn't afford it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, that was a memory from Otterbein.
yes, so for those of you who thought we were perfect.
Yes,
And never got into trouble, we sure did that year.
we did.
And I'm still not going to tell my grandchildren.
So you will not be allowing us to put this online, I take it. Oh. Are there any other stories you'd like to share?
No.
You three were
No.
perfect angels besides.
Otherwise.
Yes.
Well, there was one more thing. It was the same year, Hanby Hall. Why we did this, I have no idea, but back then, you had a phone like down the hallway.
Mhm.
And so who's ever working the desk downstairs would say, like, Sherry Alford, you have a call on line 2, and then you'd see Sherry Alford running down the hallway. So we had someone go down and page someone, you have a call on line whatever, and as that person went running to the phone, we throw water at them with glasses. Why, I don't know. It just happened that way. So,
Well, you have to remember, we had 9 o'clock permissions then, though, see? So we were stuck in the dormitory.
yes,
We had a lot of dorm time back
That's
in those
true.
days.
That is true.
especially our junior year.
Yeah.
We had a lot of dorm time.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Being unsocial pro.
Yes.
A lot of dorm time. Yes.
Okay, I'm done.